Greetings, sir and sirettes, and welcome back to Really Lopsided Turrets. Nope, that's not meant to happen. That's better. Greetings, sir and sirettes, and welcome back to From the Depths with me, Lathrix, and of course, welcome back to the campaign at long last, in which I have just spawned in 2 of the Scarbrand. In today's episode, this will be their test episode, in which we are sending them against the Lightning Hoods, and if we are lucky, we will get all the way to their main base. Now, sadly, my time is very limited today, as today is the day I am going back to England, and I am going to be editing this video on the way home on the train. So, that's dedication, but sadly, it does limit our time very much so. I am currently recording all of this to an external hard drive, so let me put these into fleet move so we can get their speed, because I'm a derp and I keep on forgetting to do that, like so. And once they're at full speed, we will despawn them and send them against the Lightning Hoods. So back in a second with our first battle, hopefully using the Scarbrand. The Krull really is one of the most versatile vehicles I've ever made. Here it is, just chilling out at the resource zone we captured in the previous episode, simply harvesting all of the resource it has. Nice, simple, effective, and hopefully by the time the Scarbrand reach here, we can perhaps build a brand new vehicle to help them out. Maybe even a third Scarbrand. Well, it turns out I may have saved this under the wrong name. It's Scarbrand with a K, like pretty much everything with corn, not with a C. So there we are. The heresy has been increased, actually. Yay for the Blood God. Either way, the group is now 2 Carnage and 2 Scarbrand, and they are now going north to attack this. Oh, no, let's wait until the daytime. When it's daytime, they're going to go north to fight this Lightning Hoods group. Ever since we took the 2 resource zones, the one for the White Flyers and the one for the Lightning Hoods, they're not really spawning in enemies all that fast anymore, so we're just kind of waiting around until it's daytime and we can actually see what we're doing. Into the first battle we go, using the 2 Scarbrand and the 2 Carnage against the Lightning Hoods, who have the Amplitude and then a bunch of vehicles I simply can't pronounce, including the Skyscraper, the Sentinel Skyscraper, and the Lux. Now, is that a building? I think it actually is. I have never seen a regular tile defender be a building before. That is very, very interesting and very expensive, which means a lot of scrap for us. So, as usual, let's go ahead and put the Scarbrand and the Carnage along the side, which I think is where they should go. I'm not too sure with the Scarbrand, since they are kind of fulfilling the role of not only the Bloodletter, but also the Abaddon and the Krull. Perhaps a bit more in the middle like this. They will try and run away at 1,000 meters, so maybe there. Let's go with that for now, shall we? Oh wow, look at that. Pause, please. No more lag. Thank you. Well, that's a thing. That is definitely a thing. Is that even going to be able to hit me? If it can only move up and down there, then there's a good chance our guys are just going to hit it without them hitting us. Also, let's put that on maximum to spawn in everything from both sides. There we are. And let's make sure everyone's in combat. Why did the Krull spawn so... The Carnage spawn so low? Really not too sure. Either way, the fight is beginning, and shots from the first Scarbrand are aiming directly at the main vehicle / building. It's honestly a building. The other one is also aiming at the building very briefly, and by the looks of things, most of the shots are missing. It's aiming at something very specific within the craft. The building. It's weird having a building in this normal type of fight. The other Scarbrand is now aiming at the drone carrier and doing a lot of damage. Bear in mind that these cannons are more powerful than the Bloodletters. Missiles incoming from both the Scarbrand and the Dual Carnage. Is that going to hit? No, please don't hit that. Please, no, no, don't, no, please. Of course you did. On the upside, that means we can quickly pause time and jump onto that thing. Is it you? I think it might be you. Hi. So how are you building? This is so stupid. Where should I jump onto this? I need to make a bit more space. Incoming loud noises, I do apologise. Or, of course, we could just use the grenade. That's not heavy armor, is it? Why am I doing no damage to it? Screw it, we're just gonna jump on the inside. I'm hoping to get through this gap. Yes, okay. Ooh, mainframe. Was that it? Yes! It's ours! It is ours! Bask in my glory. We have owned your building. The Scarbrand's happily finishing off the rest of the opponents. Though apparently that one particular Scarbrand is doing a bit of melee action. Very weird indeed. These Lux, the motherships, can take so much damage. Oh, seems like our belt-fed loaders have now run out, so now they're using just the regular auto-loaders, which means their fire rate goes down from 1,700 down to only about 500. Still very powerful, just not as powerful. It's the initial burst which gives the Scarbrand its damage. Although that one seems to be harming itself, so clearly there is something going wrong there I will need to fix. Perhaps the failsafe isn't on properly, but it seems like the internal turret is broken, so that could be what's going on there. The other Scarbrand is also very hurt. Although it did repair itself, so clearly a few things did manage to hurt us. Scarbrand missiles and Scarbrand cram cannon shots. There's a good chance that one actually killed itself as well then if that's going on. I will have to quickly check the bot. It seemed to work perfectly in the sandbox mode, but this is why you need to do real battles, which go on for so long versus so many enemies. Lots of different situations occur. Either way, all of the enemies have now been defeated with that mothership going down, and we have this. I don't even know what to say. We have this. Whoever made this, by the way, awesome looking building. I'm sorry that we defeated it in such a weird way. I really am. Well, kind of. One tiny little drone remains. And there it goes. The Scarbrand's back up and running, so at least we did get to showcase the healing capabilities of the Scarbrand, meaning that even when they take too much damage, they can heal up. They're actually at 100% again, that's how fast they can heal. So, I'm not scrapping that skyscraper, there's no chance. Let's spawn in the two Scarbrand and let's have a bit of a diagnostic as to what on earth just happened. Okay, so it turns out there was two problems which both came together to cause the overall problem of it shooting itself and actually killing itself. So the main problem was that within the base of the Scarbrand, the turret, which actually turns the turret segment of the craft, because of course it's a turret which holds a sub-vehicle spawner, sorry, a docking station, which then holds the top half of the mech, was actually impeded by a little bit of fuel. There was a fuel canister in the way, so when it tried to turn around, at least when it tried to turn left, it ended up getting stuck. In addition to this, the failsafe I added earlier to the cannon was no longer attached when I updated the cannon and made it slightly larger, because I did have to move the failsafe and the local weapon controller and the advanced cannon, and I forgot to actually move the failsafe to the correct position, so it was facing absolutely nothing. So now we have both the failsafe and the turret nice and fixed. I will retrofit the other Scarbrand to be like this one, so the self-harming will not happen again. It seems like the one which was 2 damage did indeed kill itself. It literally shot itself from the inside with its own cannon. Because why not? It's Scarbrand. I may not always like the weather within From the Depths, but that looks so very, very ominous. And then there's a seagull. Seagulls don't give a crap about the blood god. They are above all of this. They are the true gods of death in this world. Since this lovely skyscraper is now under new management, I think it's only fitting we start adding a few of our own renovations, which of course means we need to add some posters of the blood god and add some lovely red lighting effects. Okay, that's not quite right. How about we put it the correct way around this time? That might be better. There we go, now there's a lovely corn flag, and let's add one on the opposite side as well, but how about we add it here instead to hide this hole? There's a few too many gaps currently in this, so it would be nice if we could cover some of those up. Yep, that looks completely fixed. Well, we have our skyscraper. I am tempted to scrap this. It is worth a fortune and could actually build us a brand new Scar brand, but I just can't. We flew a plane into it, jumped inside, and then destroyed the AI. It's going to be a tail, and we need to keep it. Also, I love how they've done these windows. I love what you've done with this place. And there will be my seat. Well, I didn't expect that. The next group also has the Sentinel skyscraper. Of course, this time if we capture it, we will destroy it, giving us enough resources for a brand new Scar brand. Also over here, back at the last resource zone, I do already have enough resource for another Scar brand. So if we get enough for 2, that means we'll have 4 of them. The enemy are pretty much doomed at this point, but we may as well make them even more doomed. Okay, so what else do the enemy have? They have 2 of those Lux, and then a load of smaller craft, because the Lux is taking up most of the force count. This time, maybe the Scar brand won't kill itself. That would be a nice thought, wouldn't it? It'd be lovely if that happened. Just, you know, not killing themselves. That's all I want. Doesn't seem like I can spawn in everything though, which is a shame. Yeah, too much even for the game's maximum settings. We currently have it all cranked up to the maximum battle size, and, well, we can't spawn in everything. So we've spawned in both of the Carnage and one of the Scar brand. The Scar brand claiming its first victim of the battle. The Carnage doing a fair bit as well, spawning right on top of it, and those cruise missiles instantly hitting the target. So many shots missing, but when it does hit, it does kill straight away. I think the Scar brand should perhaps spawn in a little bit closer. One of the drones being destroyed by simply going through the beam of shots there. I think I need to set up its AI to go after larger targets first as well. Wow, look at all of those missiles missing. Really putting the miss back into missiles, enemies. Ow! Okay, I have been lasered to death. I didn't realise I was still on one of the Scar brand. Both of the Scar brand are now focusing on the Lux, as the second one has just spawned in. The enemy skyscraper is now here. Let's see if the Carnage ends up ramming it again. Hello. Yep, the Lux is being totaled by the cannons. The funny thing is, when it comes to aiming at targets, I have set the Scar brand to constantly update the enemy's location. It's particularly good at fast-moving targets, yet it still seems to miss over long ranges. So I really do think that closer quarters, not very close, but more medium range, and making sure to focus on larger targets would make them a lot better. So many missiles. Thank God I have so many flares. You are actually ignoring salvage already, okay. I thought the Scar brand were just killing that. And now they are focusing on the building. Or are they? No, they're not. There's something behind the building. Darn it. Can you even fight? Ooh, missiles going straight through. Doing very little because of how big this thing is. Okay, the Scar brand is now on its regular auto-loaders, hence the slower fire rate. I definitely feel like that's the right idea, though. Once the belt feds are gone, it can still fight, unlike the Bloodletter. Cram cannon shells going inside of the base there. A lot of going through this building, but not really all that much damage. And yes, I did have to stop myself from saying vehicle there. I wonder where the AI actually is. It's at the top, isn't it? Because that's where we landed, somewhere like here. I think it is going for it, it's just difficult. Or perhaps it has multiple mainframes, and we just got lucky. Oh, is it dead? They've all stopped focusing on it, so clearly something's happened there. Also, both of the Scar brands didn't detonate this time, so I can only assume it was definitely self-harm last time. Some of the belt-fed loaders have came back online. Stammering, because it's far too early in the morning for this recording. I really do admire these things. They can take so much of a beating before finally going down. What's wrong with your firing? Something is very off there. You're focusing on something which doesn't actually exist. It's as if there's a center of mass here, and it's constantly aiming for it. The thing is, they're both doing it, so... not too sure what's going on there. First time seeing that happen. They're not doing it to other vehicles, which indicates it's not their detection system. It's just something very weird about that vehicle as it dies. Only the drones are now left, and as soon as the advanced cannons are turned on them, almost all of them died, except for one, which just got caught up with a missile. Well done, Scarbrand. You're doing pretty much as well as I would expect. Tanking damage ridiculously well, except for the first time when you killed yourself, and brutally murdering anything you look at. A few changes still need to be done, but nothing as major as I would have thought. But again, these are the testing grounds. And now it's time for the final testing ground. The Lightning Hood's main base. Around about a minute later, and I've done a bit of tweaking with the AI, it should now actually have aim point selection connected correctly, and it should now also focus on larger targets. The same can be said for the base vehicle, which should now swivel the main vehicle towards the right target. I think that was one of the problems, which I didn't really think about, honestly. If both of the AI are trying to target different things, the base is swiveling the main vehicle away from the target it wants to fire at, causing the weird erratic shooting, and I think that was one of the main issues. It wasn't setting up the turret segment correctly. It was simply pointing it wherever it wanted to when this thing wanted to shoot something else. Hopefully now, it'll be a little bit more functional. This is all new to me. It's very difficult. As usual, we're going to lure out the defenders of the enemy fortress before fighting it. So, it looks like it's all the usual gubbins. Yep, pretty much all the stuff we've already seen before. So, let's spawn in our craft as we have been all today. It's hard to see them with the new colour scheme. There we are, you go there, and the other one is there. Which is actually weird, you're outside of the circle. I'm okay with that, you can stay there. Can everything spawn in this time? That would be nice. Oh, that's a beautiful sight. Look at that. All of the guns aiming, the missiles going up, the advanced cannons firing. And of course, there are the enemies, with the carnage behind them, which is going to cause a lot of problems. For them, thankfully, not us. Since they are now going after the larger target, both of them are instantly focusing down the enemy Lux. And just look at that metal being shredded by those advanced cannons. And after about 14 seconds, we may also see the cram cannons firing. There they are. Also, the smoke dispenser finally actually being used. That's pretty good to see. One cram cannon shell being hit on the shield, and that's pretty much that. Missiles going for the carnage. Will they hit the back? I think that one hit, maybe? One of the flyers going down. It seems like the missiles are almost as slow as the carnage. Oh, yep, they are definitely hitting, but thankfully heavy armor is heavy armor. Yeah, those cram cannons, they occasionally do well, but mostly they are just there for looks. They are absolutely tiny, to be perfectly honest, only taking up about 20 volume each, so it's not like I've sacrificed much firepower from something else to do that. The best I could really do is perhaps increasing the fire rate very slightly of the advanced cannons, which clearly we really don't need. I feel mean now, and everyone who says, oh, battles are boring because of how fast you're winning, okay, now I understand, but that's the whole point. These are meant to be the destroyers to finish off the campaign once and for all, so that we can finally move on. Getting balanced battles is actually incredibly difficult in this game, and would slow down the campaign massively. We are also running out of resource, so what I'm going to do is move this group over there to give it all of its resource, and then put it back on the resource zone afterwards.
On my way.
Well, here we go, against the Lightning Hood's main base at long last, the second to last faction before we can move on to a brand new campaign, which is definitely the goal as soon as I'm back from the Christmas holidays. So, what do we have against us? Over here we have the Tetrode, which I believe is the main vehicle, and by the looks of things, will be what the Scar brand instantly target. There's also a load of skyscrapers. This is actually kind of terrifying. There's a lot of very, very bad things on the enemy side. We may lose.
Receiving.
And I'm completely fine with that if we do. We have the resources to rebuild this group, and if we lose, we can always come back later with a better understanding of the enemy. So I'm going to jump over onto this Carnage, and let's head straight into it. We maxed out, yes we are. Okay, the enemy Tetrode hasn't spawned in just yet. And one of my Scar brands hasn't spawned in either, okay. That's it, take out that laser turret before it can fire. That thing is brutal, thank you. Laser turret has been removed from the fight, so has the enemy skyscraper, not that that really did anything anyway. Those just seem to be houses, so don't really care too much about those. That, on the other hand, is actually firing at us. And is an adorable little missile turret, so that won't do too much, hopefully. Going after the flares anyway, it's definitely an infrared. Right now, we're just kind of butchering homes. We're just killing homes, we're not... There it is! Hello, main base, what are you? The other Scar brand has also spawned in. Slowly going over there because I can't zoom in whilst I'm in pause mode. That's a UFO. Does it? Yes, it does. Oh, so close to that Scar brand. So many hits straight away. Well, that's a bit buggy. Don't think it should be able to do that, and the Scar brand can't figure out where it is because it's bugging out into the ground. Scar brand, stop, 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 stop. You're just wasting ammo. There it is. Okay, now you can turn back on. Take that thing out of the sky. Oh. Well, good. Everything bugged out around here. That was helpful. Incoming missiles from the Scarbrand. Now it's going into the water. Well... Ooh, that was a particle cannon shot. That's what happened. Oh, look at that. The turret got through up into the air, and it's taking that opportunity to rain down death upon the enemy main base, which was honestly horribly, horribly glitchy. So much damage taken. Oh, it is AI dead, but I am nowhere near it. Honestly, I didn't know what to do there. How could I have possibly captured that when it was bouncing around so much? This is going to be the first main base I didn't capture. And honestly, with how glitchy it is, I can't see how I could have possibly knew where it was going. We need to spawn this into the Sandbox mode, because I have no idea what was meant to happen there. I know it definitely had a powerful particle cannon, because what it did is it hit the base vehicle and it knocked out the turret from the inside, causing this to fall off. And then that got repaired, thus causing this to go back on top, but because of the spikes, how this has to go back on top is to go upwards and then down, resulting in it being mid-air for a while. Either way, a brutal victory, and therefore the Lightning Hoods have now been defeated. And unlike the other factions, it was actually defeated. The main vehicle has been destroyed. So what I'm going to do is save once again and then quickly go into the Sandbox mode so that we can see what that thing was really meant to do. Here we are in the Sandbox mode, and this is what it should have looked like, but sadly it spawned in the ground, which just bugged out absolutely everything. Although it was very clear that these cannons are very, very brutal. So on a different side, we're going to spawn in the brand new bear from the Steel Empire and see what happens when these two meet. Didn't expect it to be spawned underneath. What is with that Okay, it's just glitched. The main base is glitched. I don't know what just happened then, but it just crashed by itself. No damage taken or anything. Although it did do a lot of damage, I'm fairly certain that shouldn't have happened. Okay, let's spawn in a couple more bear. There's the cannon firing, then goes... Okay. Yep, that is broken. I wonder... Ooh, it uses a warp drive. That's cool. I wonder why then it does that weird thing where it ducks into the ground, because clearly that can't be intentional. I love the fact it uses a warp drive, because nothing uses a warp drive, but a little bit confused about it. Let's spawn it in once again on our side, and let's have one final verdict. I don't really want to say it's broken, that's the thing. I can't prove it's definitely working, as it's not meant to. It just really looks like it from my perspective. No. Spawn on my side. I want to look at the thing.
Receiving.
Hello. Oh my lord, look at how much energy this thing has. And look at how much fuel that must use up. Look at the engine power of this thing. That's insane. Although the fuel isn't moving. You're worth 818,000 resource. You're worth more than 8 Scarbrand. Are you just RTGs? You've got to be at that cost. I can't think of anything else which would be so expensive. Yep, it's made out of just RTGs. There's the RTG section there. Then all of these are RTGs. Okay. So, fight something then. I want to see what happens to all of these levels as we fight something. So, spawn in Steel Empire Orion. The energy is definitely waning. Oh, maybe it doesn't spawn in at full power. So when it fires for the first few times, it crash lands. And these, which are clearly meant to go down to protect it, aren't doing their job properly, so it's going through the ground. Because that worked really well, that time. And honestly, it's really sad, because it can clearly go through the armor of the Scarbrand, but it just glitched so badly during that battle, it just died. And then, of course, had the Scarbrand on top of it just raining down hell, but ignoring that. Well, it's working absolutely fine now, so hard to say, really. I don't think it is as broken as I thought it was. I just think, like a lot of this game, sometimes bad things can happen. And this is a very, very powerful cannon. What are you doing? Stop teleporting so much, you're not even moving anywhere. It must activate based on proximity. Although it still hasn't killed that Orion. Must be resistant to the EMP shots. Either way, though, I'm afraid I am all out of time for today's episode, so if you have enjoyed the brutal destruction of the Lightning Hoods, then of course, likes, favourites, shares, comments, all that good stuff helps out me, helps out the channel, and most importantly, shows that From the Depths is a series you wish to see continued in the future. I do apologise to the creator of this craft, because honestly, it looks amazing, and it definitely acts fantastically, but it seems to be a little bit unreliable on certain terrain. Let's just say that. Although, that is just the game being the game. So once again, thank you so much for watching, and goodbye. Have a happy holidays.